Hi there. It's time for another Thoughts from the Soul video here today, and my video today is going to be a little different than my usual Thoughts from the Soul videos, and that's very much intended. Today's video is not going to have a specific topic or anything like that, but I want today's video to serve as a reminder that life is precious and life can be taken away from you without warning. So the title of today's video is Live Your Life as If You're Alive. This video is going up on Wednesday, December 23rd, 2015. Exactly 1 year ago today, at 7:46 a.m., I saw my father pass away. First of all, it's still hard to believe that it's been a year since he's passed away. It just seems like a couple months, really. I don't think my dad would deny the fact that he was a complicated guy. He was incredibly loving. He was, and I was never blessed to really hear the side of him, but by all accounts, my dad was just a hell of a keyboard player. Talented musician, singer, songwriter, and he chose to give that up. He chose to give that up when I came along. He chose to give that up. He never really articulated the reason to me, but I believe it's because he didn't want to be a touring musician with a young child at home. And for that, I think it was a pretty admirable decision. But I think he regretted that decision for the rest of his days. Now, my dad, like 2 or 3 years ago, I believe it was, he had been looking for a Fender Rhodes piano. Now, this is an instrument that has been around for years, many, many decades. I would say its popularity was highest in the 70s with artists like Stevie Wonder to George Duke to Donald Fagen with Steely Dan. Really many, many artists in jazz and rock and roll and soul music really loved this instrument. It really was the predecessor, I believe, to the electric synthesizer. But it had a specific sound. Dad hadn't been playing at all, really, for many, many years. In fact, I think his love of music even waned a little bit. But we started, after my mom passed, we started going to a lot of live concert events together. And I think his love of music had started to pick back up a little bit. And I was so glad to see that. I was just so proud of him. And he found that Rhodes piano. An old friend of his from high school was selling it. I think he got rid of it for like $200 or $300 altogether. It came with the piano itself, and an amp, and a stand for it. And Dad even told me that he had found some guys who wanted him to play with him. To say I was beaming with pride was an understatement, because I knew how much music meant to Tony Hawk. But over the course of the next few years, the dust that built up on that piano really started turning the keys gray. Music was his life. Well, other than my sister and me and my mom, music was his life. And he just got so deep into his demons, his depression, he never really got out of it. And his demons won. I think of that dusty piano a lot, as you can probably imagine. That dusty piano is not just a metaphor. No, this was a legit dusty piano here. But it really served as a wake up call to me. Because for so many years, I admittedly I let my dreams vanish. I let my dreams drift away. That was really the turning point in my evolution from aspiring to published. It's also fueling my move to New York City in a very short time. Have I mentioned that I'm moving to New York City in a matter of weeks? I just want to remind everybody that as long as there is a thought in your mind, as long as this big muscle keeps pumping blood through your body, as long as you're still able to draw breath, as long as you are above ground, there's still a chance. Don't let your dreams die before you do. Live your life as if you're alive. And if you don't mind, I would like to address this final portion of the video to my dad, and really by proxy to my mom. So if I get a little emotional here, I'm not cutting anything out, but if I get a little emotional here, I do not apologize one bit. As you remember from my previous video, it's just water leaking from your face. You guys always called me a late bloomer. I hated it. I hated that phrase so much. But then the older I'm getting and the more perspective I'm gaining on life and on just how fragile life is, I'm starting to really appreciate that. Because it takes a while. It takes many, many years for the mighty redwood to become the mighty redwood. It had to start as a sapling somewhere. I regret many, many things. I regret never being able to see your faces when I fulfilled a lifelong dream come true. I regret that I won't be able to hear your voice when, after I told you guys that going to become a coach. I regret that I'll never be able to tell you that I've met the woman of my dreams. When the time comes. But most of all, and this still kills me, most of all, I regret that I'll never be able to call you and tell you that you're going to be grandparents. And I wanted that so bad for you guys. I really did. So, wherever you're watching this video here today, just know that I'm blooming, I'm growing, and I just hope I'm making y'all proud.